And welcome to Sunday Night Live. This week we have the pleasure of having the world-renowned Mr. Brian Pasch on the show.
Well, it's great to be here and to be talking with our industry peers and friends. Send them a word of encouragement on a Sunday night.
Now, a lot of people know who you are. I'd say probably most of them, but there might be one or two people that don't. Why don't you share with us a little bit about you? I don't think quite back to like second grade, but just kind of how you evolved into becoming who you are today.
Well, I stumbled into automotive accidentally 15 years ago when I started a new digital agency. I was buying cars from Circle BMW in New Jersey for 10 years, and I approached, like any new business owner, I approached lawyers that I knew and doctors and retailers, and I approached Circle BMW and said, hey, man, you need SEO, you need microsites. This was 2005. And we made a deal. And what I realized that car dealers spend money every month for marketing, unlike other businesses. So I really enjoyed working with car dealers. Now, 15 years later, 9 books later on digital marketing. I love helping dealers. I love our industry. And it's been fun being able to focus on digital marketing for 15 years.
I have one of your books. It's a manual that's about this thick. It's a white cover.
Okay. Yes. Over the years, I've responded to what I felt was industry needs. Writing books is kind of a thankless job, especially in automotive, because there's a limited number of people who buy them and will use them. But I do feel that I've been dedicated to training the next generation of automotive professionals. And over the years, I've been blessed to receive emails or phone calls or letters of people who said, hey, I've been following you. I've been reading your stuff. It's been helpful. So it's been a blessing. And I continue. I have a new book coming out next month.
And you do, you have an award, an annual award also, right?
That's right. So what I found is that there's so many, companies out there advertising that they're the best. And so what I want to do is recognize the best of the best by putting together a review process. So it's peer reviewed. We do it each year. We announce the awards at NADA. It's called the AWA Awards. We review about 60 products, and not all of them receive awards, but we do produce a 300-page detailed review of these products. Dealers get a free copy of that report. So we just feel like we're the Consumer Reports for automotive marketing software.
And I love the report because it is extremely thorough. I mean, it seems like you don't leave any stone unturned in coming up with the data.
Yeah, we wanted to try to have almost like a Cliff Notes for each product. So a general manager who was trying to, evaluate different products on the market could always go to the AWAs to understand what we believe the software does. And, we don't say this is the best CRM or this is the best website. What we try to do is review products based on their features and then let the dealer feel which product best fits their needs.
Right, because there's no one size fits all.
No, and there's not one best digital retailing software. There's not one best website. And with OEM co-op programs, some of those choices are limited.
Awesome. So tonight we are going to talk kind of all things digital. And Brian's going to walk us through kind of how to create a vision and all of the other pieces. It's going to be like a giant Lego set. We're going to take all these pieces and we're going to hook them all together. At the end of it, we're going to come up with a nice little house. So
Great.
Talk to us about
Great. Well, that's what we
creating the vision.
Yeah. So, for years, car dealers have marketed themselves what I call 5 broken or outdated brand promises. They sound very familiar to people who are watching And for the people who are watching, if you think of another common brand promise that I miss, would you just put it in the comments? That'd be awesome. But it goes something like this. We're the largest. We're the lowest priced. We're the oldest. We are the friendliest, or we'll treat you like family. And the fifth one is we're the most award winning. And the truth of the matter is those five things have nothing in it for the consumer. Before the internet, if somebody advertised they were the largest, it had a value, because if a family was shopping for a car, they may want to go to the largest stocking dealer because it increased the chances that they would find the car that they want. Today, the internet is the largest car dealership, and sites like cars.com or Auto Trader or Car Gurus allow consumers to find the exact car they want.
Anywhere.
So being the largest, I mean, a consumer doesn't care if you have 300 Camrys or 10 Camrys on the lot. Do you have the one with the gray, with the black interior, with a certain trim package? So what I'm trying to tell dealers to do is they need to create a modern brand message and brand promise that has a WIFM, which is what's in it for me, for the consumer.
That's kind of the number one key that a lot of people miss. I'd see sometimes I'd get a report, okay, because I represent some various companies as well as my own. And I'd get a report, and the person would be all psyched about this report. And I said, whoa, just slow down a minute. Let's look at this report. Now, you may be excited about it, and that's great that you are, but I don't really care. The only one I care about is the customer. I want the customer to have the same excitement when they look at the report that you do, because unless they do, whatever we do is meaningless.
That's right. And listen, competition is at the highest levels it's ever been. You could say that, 10 years ago, there were some dealers who were on the internet early and Google ads was cheaper. Listen, every dealer has a fairly well-performing website. They're all using Google ads. They're all using Facebook. They're all on OTT or linear. I mean, so now is, how are you going to get someone's attention? Is it just price payment? And if it's only price payment, then I believe that most dealers are missing a bigger opportunity, because all other retailers, large retailers, have made it faster, easier, mostly online, to do business. And that's the message that car dealers need to have.
And the consumer will pay more money for convenience. That seems to be a key ingredient that a lot of people don't understand.
Yeah, listen, I understand price, and I understand the sensitivity on price, and there's always going to be someone who drives down 10 or 20 miles to save $50 on a car. But the truth of the matter is that the reason why Starbucks exists is not because it's the cheapest cup of coffee, it's the most expensive cup of coffee. Why? Because the quality is high. It's a mobile experience. You can get in and out quickly, and you can get something the way you want it. And the margins on coffee are higher than liquor, meaning people who have a bar say, man, we make a lot of money on the liquor, of course, because it pays for the liquor license and the overhead. But the margin on coffee is even higher. So it's about the experience and the perceived value.
I never knew that about the margins on coffee, because right now the restaurants are struggling because a lot of them, the bars can't be open, and with 25 or 50% capacity, depending on where they are, it's still not going to cut it. I think 30,000 restaurants went out of business so far, and according to NRA, another 110,000 are projected to go out. But so maybe the trick is to start a coffee business. Now we got a couple of comments.
Well, here's the.
Hold on a second. We have.
Go ahead. Let's hear them.
Joe Tureen says, hello, gentlemen. Kenneth Dunner, Sir Paul and Sir Brian have a scrumptiously delicious, edibly tasty, good personalities. That's our friend from Sugar Land, Texas. Ron
Come
Over.
on.
You know Ron? He's the Fixed Ops Magazine.
Yes, of course.
Great to be here, Paul and Brian. Mike Vogel says, hi, everyone. Looking forward to hearing Brian's wisdom. David Mumford says, hello, guys. All right.
Yeah, I'm seeing them all. I put on my glasses and clicked on the live comments tab, so I'm seeing you guys real time now.
Awesome.
So let's pivot now, Paul. Let's go to the next step. Let's just say a dealer says, "Hey, Brian, we've been saying we're the oldest, or we're the cheapest, or we're the the largest, or the most award-winning. What should we talk about?" And the answer is, talk about what other proven retailers like Starbucks, like Best Buy, and others have done, which is we make it faster and easier and mostly online to save you time. If you think about that, Starbucks has the mobile app. If you don't want to wait in line, and even the line isn't that long, you can pick up your thing. If you want to buy a TV, you can order it and drive up, and Best Buy will bring it to the curb. It's faster. It's easier. It's mostly online. Let me be clear, mostly online to save you time to do more of the fun things in life. So what we've been helping dealers do is look at their brand promise for sales and service. And so things like fast lane, fast pass, fast track are terms we've been promoting within the industry because they can apply to sales and service. What I don't like is brand promises that just have to do with buying a car. So, for example, someone says, "Oh, we have the buy it now," and I'm like, "Okay, but what about service?" "Oh no, that has nothing to do with it." But remember, fast lane could be something like this: the fastest and easiest way to buy your car, and fast lane, the fastest and easiest way to maintain your car. You see, fast lane isn't just for sales; it's for sales and service. Fast Pass, the fastest and easiest way to buy your next car. Fast Pass, save time. We make it easy to service your car. We just come into the Fast Pass lane. Okay, so I think what dealers have done is put digital retailing tools on their website. They forgot that they have to educate consumers that they have actually made it easier. And this is where the brand promise and the brand message come in.
You know, it's interesting that you mentioned that because I talk to a lot of dealers that it seems everybody today has an online scheduling tool, right? Wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, when I ask about what percentage of your customers utilize that tool, and most of them tell me a very small percentage.
That's correct.
So my automatic question is, well, how are you promoting that? I'm like, what do you mean? Well, is it in every communication that you send out? You know, is it consistent? Or on your Facebook page, is there a consistent message that shows how it's done? Do you ever send out a video to your database on, hey, listen, we've gone to this system to make it easier and faster for you. Here are the 3 easy steps for you to follow in order to utilize that. And most of them, no. So to your point exactly, they have the tool, but the implementation of that tool isn't followed up upon.
Yeah, and sadly, obviously Xtime is one of the largest or more popular schedulers. It's an iframed application on the dealer's website, so we lose all marketing attribution, which is a fail. But think about it. When a customer needs to get their oil changed or their scheduled service, do they really want to fill out that crazy Xtime form? The answer is no. They really want to make it easier. And here's what we're finding. When dealers turn to conversational commerce, which is engaging people through texting and chat, they can see a 200 or 300% increase in engagement, which means that when you pop up a form on your website, it basically says no one's here to help you. Even though it's during business hours, it's busy, and you have people waiting for the up bus, the show, we pop up these forms. And so what I've been telling people, Paul, is that we need to staff our virtual showroom, our website. And now companies like LivePerson and Gubagoo and CarNow and others are now moving call to action buttons like schedule your next service to conversations. And we're seeing at least 100% increase in conversations and communication, which changes the whole economics of running your business online.
Yeah, because there's a real person there waiting to assist you. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, think about it, Paul. If somebody walks in, and this is like a duh statement, but think about this. I walk into a showroom anywhere in the United States, and they are staffed to help me. Yet I go on the website, which we've been calling the virtual showroom for years, and I have a simple question like, is this car in stock still? Check availability. What is the selling price of this car? We pop up a form and say, no one's here to help you, and we'll get back to you at some time in the future. So we spend all this money chasing people instead of assisting them. And the dealers, and we'll be talking about this at the DMSC conference next month, the dealers that I have on the panels that have moved from forms to conversations literally have doubled their sales opportunities, doubled their conversations with people who are in market. And when you think about that, holy cow, I mean, it lowers your labor costs to pursue leads because you're only pursuing a lead because you put an artificial roadblock in front of a consumer that said, we can't help you. But you have people all day who would help someone if they walked in. So it's just a change in philosophy, a change in thinking.
Yeah, no, that makes a huge difference. You know, when I was running internet departments, I would get, I'm a light sleeper, but a good sleeper at the same time. I would get my phone would ding. I would roll over. It could be 1, 2 in the morning. I would see that something came in. I would have a prefab response already in my responses. All I'd have to do is put in the name, a couple of personal identifiable things, which took me a second to do, and bam, I hit send. And the number of people that would come back, it's like, you guys are open? Like,
yep.
It's internet, we're always open. And
well,
after I'm done, I go put my head on the pillow, go to sleep, and that was that.
Yeah, think about it. Most dealers on their website have schedule a test drive as a button. It's the stupidest thing. There is no bad time for a test drive. Yet we pop up a form that says, give me your first name, last name, email, phone number. Many of the forms don't even have a date and time. And they say someone will get back to you. When you turn that CTA button directly to a chat and it starts like this. Hey, I'm Brian. I'm here to help you schedule your test drive. When do you want to come in? Okay, I want to come in Thursday. Perfect. What time do you want to come in? 7 o'clock. Great. That's awesome. Can I have your mobile number? We're going to confirm your appointment the day of the test drive. Now it's normal. They're given the name. What did we do? We served them instantly 200, 300% increase in actual real live contact information. What most dealers don't realize, when you have Get ePrice, even though most dealers say, well, Get ePrice is my best lead button. Okay, less than 40% of the people fill it out. That means 60% of the people, when you say unlock price or Get ePrice, as soon as it pops a form, they don't fill it out. And then, since you require email address, not texting or phone, you talked about half of them. So it's like 20%. So imagine a business, you're trying to sell cars. You say you have this virtual showroom, which is your website, and you really only talk to 20% of the people who have basic questions. When you eliminate the forms and move those CTA to conversations, you see 60 to 80% engagement. Now, do the math. Instead of spending money for a BDC to chase people who you already disappointed, right. Why not staff your business to serve? And if somebody asks a hard question, Gubagoo, Car Now, Live Person, Active Engage, all have the ability to escalate to a manager. So if the conversation gets a little hairy, escalate it to a manager, but you're not chasing anymore. And that's what COVID has showed a lot of dealers, is that they had their business model wrong. Their virtual showrooms were unstaffed.
Now, if at some point we actually get out from under this, I think the tendency is to always go back to where they were before, as opposed to retooling to adapt.
Well, For sure, unless you're looking at the numbers. At DMSC in July, we're going to have Todd Caputo, who realized that he could cut his labor cost by 50%. We're going to that's the dealer principal at Sun Automotive. We're going to talk to Matt Haken, dealer principal of Prestige Volvo, that was selling as many cars with 5 salespeople. He had less than half of his staff. Here's what he found out: when you decide to not play games and force the consumer to come in the showroom, because honestly, look, if we were really honest, most of our sales training is get them in, just get them in, just get them in, just get them in. Yeah, we'll give them a price, but we're not going to give them the best price. Just get them in, just get them in. Here's what we found out: we end up disappointing more people than we're actually serving. And if we talk to people online when they're on our website, we answered their questions and told them, look, there's a new way to buy a car. It's so much more efficient. And so, Paul, there are people who will go back. But I will tell you, there's a next generation of automotive retailers that have just unhooked their business, and they were always afraid to cut staff. But they were forced to do something that they never were comfortable doing. And now they're like, duh. Hold on. Someone's on my website. I talk to them instead of chasing them in the BDC. I give them a price, and I then push out to them the digital retailing tool. Instead of forcing them to go shop to someone else, I'm talking with them. I'm helping them with their trade. I'm helping them get pre-approved. So the appointment then, Brian, comes to pick up the car, not to test drive the car. Yeah. I have dealers who said, Brian, we were selling cars every 30 minutes. Selling cars every 30 minutes online, and the appointments were to pick up the car. And you say, Brian, that's an extreme. Okay, yeah. We're in extreme time, but there's absolutely no way that these dealers are going to go back to waiting for the up bus when they weren't serving their customers on their website.
Right. We've got a couple of comments here. Let's see here. Terry says service used to separate business. Has the consumer discounted the value of good service? I don't think so. They're willing to pay for it. I've talked to actual consumers that, we're out to dinner, and this one young lady in particular told me, hey, I go to this particular quick place, I spend more money, but for me, honestly, I don't have the time, and it's well worth the convenience. Damon Decker says small percentage because they're too difficult. Aaron says, hey guys, great ideas and input. Mike Vogel says, if you don't show customers that make appointments value, you'll have a tough time having them do it consistently. Consistency is the key here. I agree with Damon Decker. Most online appointments are too difficult for most customers.
But think of it, Paul, this way. And I think that although X-Time, their motives are sincere, do you think I want to? First of all, if you asked me, I'm driving a Honda Pilot. If you asked me, what is it, the touring package or this or what engine type? I'm like, no, I don't care anything about that. If my car says, hey, you're scheduled maintenance, here's what I want to do. I want to text the dealer and say, when can I come in? And that's what I did. So I'm in Florida, Bremen Honda. I said, hey, I want to schedule a service. And say, great, here's our COVID thing. Come in at this time. When you pull up, just text us. And I texted my service advisor, say, great, here it is. I mean, I did everything through texting. I didn't have to fill out one form. None of us likes to fill out a form on our mobile devices. And it was a great experience. So we just have to say to ourselves, why do we have forms? Right. It's because that's what we did 20 years ago. We can have conversational commerce. You can buy things through texting now. You can go to Lowe's or Home Depot, by the way, and you may not even know this, but you can actually buy things completely through SMS. You can text Lowe's and say, I need a 40-pound bag of bird seed. And they'll be like, oh, this? It's like, yes, where do you want it? And you can pay with Apple Pay. And you don't have to talk to anybody. So we need to realize that conversational commerce can actually double our service appointments, double our conversations with consumers who want to buy a car. We just have to get off the form drug.
And you know what? It's interesting too, because this is what the consumer wants. This is what the consumer has wanted even before, right? We're just kind of forced into this situation now that they've been asking for a lot of years. And your point, yeah, if I can get a person to respond to me immediately, you know, they say loyalty is dead in our business. I don't think so. I think we've tried to kill it.
Well, listen, I understand map pricing. And by the way, Kenneth asked the question, what am I drinking in the glass of wine? So I'm going to tell you, Kenneth, two things. These are the brand new Rona wine glasses. Rona. They're, I think, a Slovakian company, Rona, R-O-N-A. I just got them in. And it is a 2013 Brunello di Montalcino from Poderi del Brizio. They also have a bed and breakfast, which I've stayed at. So am I a crazy wine guy? The answer is yes. Now, let's say something to Paul about loyalty. When we make it eat, why do people go to Starbucks, even though it's the most expensive coffee in the world? Because it's consistent and it's convenient. And loyalty is about making it faster, easier, and mostly online in all business. Why do we shop at Amazon? Because literally in like 15 seconds, we can buy something. Like 15 seconds. Like, oh, I need dental floss. It's like, okay, here's a 6-pack of dental floss. And like 15 seconds later, you ordered it, and tomorrow you have 6 packs of dental floss. It's like mind-blowing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But think about this. When consumers want to buy a car, they just have some basic questions. And like, I understand map pricing, and I just want to be very clear about this. Brian, we can't show our low price. We're one price, but we can't show our price because of map guidelines. I'm like, great, here's the solution. You can have a button that says unlock price instead of going to a form. And I've done this for Subaru and Toyota now and Mercedes. Here's what the unlock price, because right, Mercedes, you only can advertise MSRP. Most Mercedes-Benz dealers are like, their brain is broken. They like, oh, Brian, we're a luxury brand. Okay, luxury brand, you pop up a form and you say, we can't tell you anything about what this car sells for. Okay, here's how it goes. Get today's price or unlock price or whatever. Hi, this is Brian from Mercedes-Benz of Woodbridge. I'm here to provide you with the selling price of this car. Who am I speaking with? And you say, Paul. Say, Paul, great. What's your last name? Okay, Paul Meijer. Okay, great. Paul, Mercedes won't allow me to show our low price online, but I can text that to you right now. What's your cell phone number? Well, here's what Paul is like. Sure. I mean, if Mercedes won't, which they won't allow me to show that low price. So Paul says, well, here's my cell phone number. The BDC person texts through that e-leads or dealer socket or whatever. Paul gets a message. Hey, Mercedes-Benz of Woodbridge wants to text you. Yes. Okay, Paul, here's the price. MSRP was $54,000. Our price is $49,000. And then through the texting, the person says, Paul, can I help you estimate payments or schedule a test drive? What did I just do? Instead of getting 40% form fill, I get 80+% engagement. I get 80% of the people's phone name and phone number. And here's what I did. I created a first-class experience for the Mercedes brand or for the Subaru brand or for the Toyota brand in a map pricing environment. We just have to rethink our business to say, will we assist people in our virtual showroom, or are we going to create a broken brand promise and chase them?
And they're willing to give you the information because
it's relevant right then. It's right now. Listen, Subaru has map pricing, Toyota has map pricing, Mercedes-Benz has map pricing, right? Just say Mercedes will not allow you to show the competitive market price without two-way communication. Well, chat, by the way, chat qualifies, not a lead form. So by saying Mercedes won't allow us to show our low price online, but I can text you that information. What's your mobile number? Pause, silence. Guess what happens? 8 out of 10 people say, here's my mobile number. And you say, great, I'm sending to you right now. And what you've done is started a conversation. You didn't chase them. You didn't disappoint them. You're saying, yes, we're here to help you. And guess what?
They like you right off the bat.
But well, it's just it. Listen, at DMSC, I'm going to be bringing dealers who have embraced conversational commerce. I have dealers now who have formless websites. There's not a form on their website. If you click one of the buttons, it either goes into the digital retailing tool or it's a conversation. Okay. You know what happens? Yeah. Do they have to change their staffing model? Yes. But they have like 3 people sitting around with their, finger up their nose waiting for the up bus. Why shouldn't they be talking to people who are on their website with a basic question? Oh, Brian, that would require us to think differently. He's like, yeah, but you want to sell more cars? Yes. Do you want to do it at a lower cost? Yes. Do you want your staff to be happier? Yes. Do you want to stop BDC turnover by forcing people to chase people instead of serving them? Yes. Okay. Then embrace conversational commerce and get rid of these stupid lead forms.
Now, what hours do you typically set that up? Do you cover most of the day?
Normal business hours. If you go to Wilsonville Subaru, Wilsonville Toyota, you will see it says get Noble Price * now during normal business hours, or email me the Noble Price. It's only 2 choices. On their VDPs, they only have 2 choices. Get the Noble Price right now during normal business hours, and their BDC handles that, or email me the Noble Price. Now, the people who don't want to talk to anybody right now will click on the email Noble Price, and guess what? Their email leads has never gone down. What they were missing is all the people who clicked on that button in the past, which there was only one choice. It said get Noble Price, and a form popped up. So when you hear Paul Schnell, when you hear Jason Monahan, when you talk to Matt Greenblatt, Matt Greenblatt listened to my podcast on simplifying his web. He has 1 CTA. Matt Black Key has 1 CTA. 1. His digital retailing completed applications went up 900%.
That's crazy.
Why? Because the digital retailing tool does get pre-approved, value my trade, schedule a test drive, and he had all those buttons plus the digital retailing tool, which is stupid. Why would you have the same old buttons you had before popping up stupid forms when your digital retailing tool does all that and conversationally? Oh, okay. So dealers who want to embrace what I call modern retail can literally double their sales opportunities. And when I say sales opportunities, ability to talk to an in-market shopper without any additional cost by just reallocating their staff and to get rid of forms and go to conversations.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. We have a couple of comments here. Does the digital message have 163 characters? Gary wants to know.
I'm not sure what digital message does the digital message have to. Maybe with the texting. Maybe Terry, what I was saying is the CTA button, like schedule a test drive or unlock price, would go right to the dealer's native chat platform. So there's no limitation. Excuse me. There's no limitation on the conversation, except when they are texting the price to get permission to text. Excuse me. Whatever the normal texting limitations are, but the text message is, hey, Mercedes-Benz of X wants permission to text you, yes or no. There's no limits there.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's a limit to text. It's not like tweeting. And even tweeting is double from what it was. Now, Tully says 3 to 5 thumb clicks max to make an appointment. But to your point, if you can get somebody on the hook right then and there, that's 10 times better.
Well, think about that. Someone comes to your website, schedule service, and it pops up that X time form. And listen, most of the service schedulers ask people questions that are ridiculous. Like I just like my check engine light went on. I want to bring the car in. That scheduled service should go right to a conversation. Hi, I'm Brian, service advisor here. How can I help you? I want to come in and schedule a service. Great. When you want to come in, have a conversation. Why are we laughing about how low our engagement rate is with online scheduling? It's like, oh, it's bullshit. We have it, 5% of our appointments are online. But listen, I'm going to tell you, here's the reason why it's so low is because you've made it so difficult they call you. And of course, then you have people with the phone calls and going to voicemail. Why don't you have people who can handle five? By the way, the industry stat, Paul, is about a good BDC operator can handle about 5 text conversations at the same time. You cannot do 5 phone calls at the same time.
Right.
So think about this. Instead of people calling the service department and going into voicemail and then you're chasing people, why wouldn't you go to conversational commerce? You get a 5-to-1 ability to serve. It's instantaneous. It's no forms. Like if anybody tells me you like to fill out a form on a mobile phone, I would say that, you're from another planet. And let alone that you think that the average person knows their engine size and how many, I don't know how many miles are on any of my cars. I don't care about those things. But when you ask them in a form, the consumer gets a little nervous. Well, if I answer these questions wrong, is that going to make my service more expensive or not? Just stop it and do a conversation. And when you do that, here's what you find out. More people will schedule their service appointment online through technology, through texting. They don't need to call and they don't need to show up unannounced. It's just that we're using technology that's 20 years old, and a form says to a consumer, no one at the dealership is here right now to help you, which is a lie. During normal business hours, there's tons of people that can help.
Yeah, especially today in a lot of stores. Now, granted, some stores are still busy. There are places in the country that never shut down.
Of course.
But there are plenty of stores that a fraction of the people are coming in. And what I'm seeing is some of these dealerships that have embraced the new way, if you will, they're selling just about the same amount of cars. Some of these stores are having record months.
Well, we have 2 things that are going on, Paul, and I want to be very direct with all the dealers who are watching. So we had pent-up demand. And so, as you said, Paul, and I agree with you, many dealers had record May and June months. And some of them have had these record May and June without much advertising. So in their brain, they're like, oh my God, I don't have to advertise anymore. Here's what we had. We had pent-up demand. And I think that, again, we don't know, but it could be July or August. That pent-up demand will be satisfied. And things will be, and dealers who have cut all advertising and are jumping up and down saying like, well, I'm selling all cars and I cut all my advertising. Hey guys, just yes. Those things happen. It was a bubble, but you better start lining up your end of year advertising because of the elections, because of live sports are going to be coming back. You need to be booking those spots, that placement now. If you think you're going to ride through the complete end of year without any advertising, you are sadly mistaken. Do not mistake a short-term bubble as a new norm that people are just running out buying cars, because we know that some people who took mass transit, right, Paul, trains, buses, carpooling, they want to do it. Okay, so we're in a bubble. But once that general bubble gets satisfied, the pent-up demand gets satisfied, we're going to need to get back to normal marketing.
Yeah, I mean, to just say, I don't need to do advertising, that's like throwing your watch out the window to save time. It's not a good strategy for long term. And as you said, come the end of the year, if they are not on the bandwagon, they're going to miss a huge opportunity and they're going to lose it to those dealers that do.
Yeah, and so here's what we've done. My brother Glenn and I have been working with dealers. We have a 60-day mentoring program where we help a dealer develop a modern brand message and a brand promise, simplify their websites, convert their CTA buttons to chat. We don't sell websites or chat. We just work with whatever they have, and develop the marketing message that they make it faster, easier, mostly online to save time. And the dealers who have truly embraced this, and we have a number of dealers that will be sharing their stories at DMSC live stream in July, have seen like mind-blowing results. And here's what they found. They never embraced digital retailing because they didn't think consumers wanted it. Even if they put it on their website, they never marketed or called it something. And when they really leaned in, they unlocked the labor savings. And so, Paul, for some dealers, they're never going back. And those are the dealers we want to follow, because margins in the automobile business have been always going down. And the last breakthrough is labor costs, labor efficiency, sales efficiency. So if the COVID crisis did anything for the automotive industry, it showed us that we were way overstaffed.
I'm a big believer in out of everything bad comes something good. And that's huge, because your labor cost is one of your highest costs in a store.
That's right. And no one was ever really brave enough. I think that's brave enough. So if you think about Carvana, who's been bad mouth or whatever, if you think about the Carvana model, where someone comes in, they see a car, basically they come to pick it up or buy the car. We laughed at this model, and granted, they're not a profitable organization. But what if car dealers?
Yeah.
And you'll hear from Todd Caputo, who said, Brian, we're market priced. We're going to give our prices to consumers on the phone, online. We're going to give them the tools. They use Roadster to pencil their own deal. We're going to move to an appointment-only culture. We don't care if people come in off the street. We're going to sell cars, and we're going to have 50% less people. And guess what? The PVR isn't lower.
Right.
So if the PVR isn't lower, it's higher. If your operating costs are lower because labor costs are lower, if people are happy because they're not chasing ghosts in the BDC, they're actually serving people. Guess what? You have less turnover. You can bring in a whole new class of people. You don't have to hire retreads, and your labor costs are lower, and your customer satisfaction is higher. This sounds like the Holy Grail, but it didn't happen unless there was a COVID. Right. And COVID forced people to rip the Band-Aids off old processes. And we're going to talk about it next month at DMSC Livestream.
Yeah, it's definitely shaken up the business and reshaped some business models, and others maybe not so much.
Well, listen, we're going to have JD Powers sharing some consumer data, and I respect JD Powers because they have a pretty amazing data set to observe what's going on in automotive retail. And if you listen to them, and maybe because I deal with more of the progressive dealers, there's a lot of dealers who haven't changed anything. So the percentage of dealers who are really providing a faster, easier, mostly online, save time experience, they're saying is still relatively low, even in COVID. And so it'll be very interesting to hear. They are going to be the closing keynote on July 14th. And very interesting to hear what they have to say, because we may be fooling ourselves. I talk to dealers all the time who call me up and say, Brian, thank you for your advice, or thank you for helping me create a brand promise, and thank you for simplifying my website, and we're just having record sales. But there could be a lot of people who are just doing the same old get them in, and not, popping up the forms, and everything is a form, and it's all about leads, and it's about chasing. Yeah, I see it. I just don't think that's sustainable.
Got a couple of comments. Aaron says it makes sense for the Amazon type of shopping. Absolutely. Kenneth says, Paul, I need to have Brian as a new connection. He is such a highly qualified, magnificent gentleman. Wow, I don't think it gets any.
No, a magnificent is, well, how often do we use the word magnificent in the conversation? Thank you. Thank you.
Smith says, hello. Mike Vogel says, love the idea of a chat service scheduler. And Tully follows that up with, love that too. Yeah, no, I love the whole change the game through the conversation.
And listen, whether you have Gubagoo or CarNow or Live Person or Active Engage or CarChat 24, all five of those companies can be triggered when a CTA button is clicked. Instead of popping up a form, go to a conversation. Now, there's different elegance in how each company does it. The ideal scenario and dealer-inspired conversations would be the sixth. And not everyone is doing what I want them to do. So let me just be clear. The ideal is whatever is the text on the button, that should be pushed to the chat operator. So if somebody clicks on schedule test drive, or if somebody clicks on unlock price, the chat operator should see you have a chat conversation for schedule test drive or schedule service or unlock price. So they can start the chat with the right context.
Right.
Hi, this is Brian. I'm here to schedule your test drive. Or, hi, this is Brian. I'm here to help you schedule your next service. For some reason, people's brains are broken at these chat companies, and they will trigger CTA to chat. But a lot of times the first response is, how can I help you? Right. And I'm like, that's a fail. The button said something. I mean, like at least. And by the way, it's not a technology problem. The label on a button is a text field that could be passed to the chat platform. So we're going to be talking about that a little bit. But I think that by the end of this year, most of the chat platforms will be able to ingest the text label on a button and then trigger a workflow that would be relevant to the conversation.
What percentage of dealers do you think will actually adapt to this? And how long do you think we're looking at before that percentage does?
It's hard to know, Paul. It's a good question. I think I deal with more of the advanced dealers because of all my writings and books, and people who want the best normally ask questions. They're not all customers, by the way. There's only so many dealers I can help. I think it's relatively small. I would say less than 10% of the dealers in the country are embracing conversational commerce, but a lot of it is because the rest of the dealers don't know what they can get. I don't think most dealers understand that when someone clicks check availability, less than 40% fill it out, or get e-price less than 40, or unlock price less than 40% fill out that form. I don't think they know that. And if they knew that, I think they'd be angry. And when I could literally line up 20 profitable dealerships without even thinking, who have replaced forms with conversations and will tell you they've doubled their sales opportunities. Meaning talking to a consumer, not chasing them in the BDC and no one's ever responding, meaning talking to consumers who are on their website. Double. And when other dealers hear that, here's what I get. Oh, I'd have to change my staffing model in BDC. I'm like, yes.
Okay.
And others are like, Brian, I will do whatever I can. If you're telling me with my existing marketing, with my existing website traffic, I can talk to twice as many people in service and sales by just redirecting some of the labor I have in my show right now that are waiting for the up bus to be able to talk with customers when they're on our website, I'll do it all day long. And those people are winning.
There will always be the people that find the reason to say no, just for the sake of saying no. Because, you look at Brian Benstock, for instance, okay, with his drop off and pickup. Now, he quote unquote spends $60 per car, but I think he picks up 300. Too many people focus on the 60 and lose sight of that 300. And this, for less than for 10% or less of the dealers to embrace that, when listen, our goal is to talk to the customer. That's our ultimate goal.
Right.
And you're right, all these roadblocks, let me put all these hoops in front of you to see. And if you can jump through all of them, then maybe I'll talk to you.
Well, and listen, the truth of the matter is, if we're really honest, much hasn't changed. Those old Badger commercials, get them in. Listen, every BDC sales trainer that I heard is about the appointment culture. This is drive for the appointment. Answer as little as possible to get them to commit to appointment. And I understand that's because what dealers ask them to do. But here's what I want people to think about. What if the appointment culture wasn't to come in to test drive? What if it was to pick up their car? What do you mean, Brian? What if instead of chasing them, we served them? What if when they were on our website and they found the car, we started talking to them immediately? We didn't have to chase, and that we could show our value and our concern. We could do virtual walkarounds. We could pencil the deal with them and convince them that this was the car for them and show them their payment. And now the appointment culture is, well, the car's going to be waiting for you, and come and pick it up. I have customers who are moving in that model, meaning, Brian, when we start talking to people on our website, instead of chasing them, we can use our digital retailing tools to push out real payments, customized payments, believable payments, payments that we will write and that will get approved by the banks. And we're selling cars online more than ever. And that's only because they decide to assist, not chase. And so will more dealers, will more OEMs? Listen, two big announcements this month. Maybe most people missed these, but dealer.com, or think of Cox Automotive, was one of the first to really have digital retailing tools through DealerTrack. And their biggest hole was that they had no integrated chat on dealer.com or their digital retailing. Same with Roadster. Roadster has the best UI, or user experience design, because they realize dealers will screw things up. So they literally have a subdomain with a consistent, clean user experience, user interface. Both of them didn't have any integrated chat. They both picked LivePerson and their cloud conversational platform. Why? Because when you add assistance, when someone's going through those tools, you double or triple the completion rate. Double or triple the completion rate of those submitted online retail apps. And so the folks like Gubagoo and CarNow, who were chat companies that went into DR, had a competitive edge. Now everyone's realizing that conversational commerce with the right tools is the perfect mix to serve, not chase, to engage, not disappoint. And COVID just accelerated that change by a factor of 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, it's really changed the landscape for everybody.
For sure. And that's why next month, when we have our annual conference, it will be the 11th annual Digital Marketing Strategies Conference. This year we have to do it virtually because of COVID, because of travel. So we have, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 specific conversations with dealers and vendors and on digital retailing success stories. We're going to talk about labor cost, staffing models, marketing, merchandising, brand promise. It's a really important time to pause for a few moments and just reflect on what we've learned.
Now, what about the leveraging video and live conferencing?
So here's an interesting thing. Like, I'm just going to throw this out there. Prior to COVID, if someone FaceTimed you that you weren't really close to, you might have thought it was pretty creepy that they wanted to do a video with you. Today, my mother, I was just downstairs, and Carrie's dad, who's, let's say 75, and all his brothers and sisters were on a Zoom meeting. If you would have asked me a year ago, would any of them know how to even be on a Zoom meeting, I would say no. So when somebody is very interested in a car, today we have the ability, right? You can have free Zoom accounts for 40 minutes or 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm encouraging dealers, when they get a lead from cars.com or Car Gurus or Auto Trader, the auto response says, look, thanks for your interest in the car. I'm sure you have lots of different questions. Probably the easiest way is jump on a Zoom meeting. Here's my Zoom link.
Yeah, proactively. Boom.
It would have, I mean, why jerk around with the email? Like, let's just get on a quick Zoom meeting. Now, before COVID, that would have been creepy. Now, it's just the norm. So people are doing, I don't know if you saw the announcement this week, but DriveCentric just announced what they call rooms. They have embedded video conferencing. Somebody submits a lead, you can send out a link and say, join me in the room. You want to do a walk around, not a third-party tool now. This is built into the CRM. You want to do a virtual walk around, you want to talk like this. Here's what we're finding. Digital retailing gets a little difficult at the F&I step, especially if someone has poor credit. But guess what? Zoom meetings fix that problem. So I think that what you're going to see now, DriveCentric was the first CRM really to announce a true integrated video conferencing in the CRM, not a third-party tool. I think we're going to see more success stories that you're going to find that digital retailing tools start the conversation, conversational commerce. You're not chasing people, you're serving them. And then as the conversation gets a little hotter, meaning the consumer really wants to buy, then Paul, you would be the F&I manager. You would say, listen, we'd like to complete all our financing. Let's do it face-to-face. You would send me a link, and just like we're here right now, you would show me the menu. You would share your screen and go over the menu options of good, better, best for warranty and good, better, best for this. And it's going to feel normal. It doesn't sound normal right now, but I think it's going to be normal.
I think everybody has just gotten into using that platform, or others like it.
Yeah.
That it now is the time. It's a perfect natural progression to do that.
For sure. It is still funny. The live streaming platform that you use is the same one that I use, and Friday I did a live stream, and of course I tell all my guests, please get to a place that has good Wi-Fi. And one of my guests' dealerships Wi-Fi is so slow. It was so bad that he had to try to do it on his phone, and of course doing it off his phone was equally as bad. Okay. Aside from those cases, most people have pretty decent, internet connections. And so just like we're talking right now, why wouldn't a dealer offer that? I mean, every salesperson can have a free Zoom account and talk up to 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you staff the BDC in your initial lead response? Hey, I see you're interested in this car. I'm sure you have lots of questions. The fastest and easiest way for us to have a face-to-face conversation, here's my Zoom link.
Doctors do it now.
Of course. Telemedicine, they call that, I think.
Well, this has been awesome, Brian. I appreciate you being on the show, sharing a lot of great insights, kind of unlocked a couple of things in my head. We're all headed in a certain direction, but you always pick up nuggets here and there, and I picked up some great nuggets from you tonight, and I really, really appreciate that. I can't thank you enough.
Well, great. And Paul, thanks for inviting me. And I want to thank everyone who shared some questions and comments. And I really wish everyone the best of success. And for dealers and vendors who really want to hear from the leaders in what I say modern retail, check out the DMSC conference in July. So if you go to digitalmarketingstrategies.org, you can see the whole agenda, and hope to see you online.
Comments, Brian?
What's that? Sure, I can do that. Sure. I will do that for sure. And yeah, I'll put that in there, and that would be awesome. So, hey, Paul, thanks so much for just allowing us to have this conversation today.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate it. And
all right,
everybody watching, thank you very much. I'll see you next week on Sunday Night Live.
Take care.